Okay, so I just got done rewatching Halloween 2018. I'll be watching Halloween Kills like straight after this review, so I thought I would rewatch Halloween 2018 and then watch Halloween Kills to make it feel more of a story. Even though what we're seeing is only like two quarters of a story because we still have a third film to come, Halloween Ends, which will be like the closing chapter to David Gordon Green's franchise. And this movie has to be seen on Blu-ray. Like this movie, there's so many vibrant colors and just it brings to life that Halloween atmosphere, like so well, and just everything about it from the sound to the picture quality. The picture quality is immaculate in Blu-ray. Like I own both the DVD and the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is definitely the way to go. Like I'm not sure if this movie does have a 4K release yet. As far as I know, it's only on Blu-ray. But yeah, Blu-ray is the way to go, and it's the only way to experience Halloween. So, yeah. And so now I took some notes when we were watching this movie because there were a few little details, especially watching it in Blu-ray, the vibrant color definitely, like there's a few details I noticed upon this viewing which did add to the experience. That does change my opinion on certain things upon this viewing. So yeah. So I've written just a few notes here. I'm just going to go through like one by one and just talk about each one. So the first one I have here is the title sequence where the pumpkin is reforming. Like I love the title sequence because it's like the impression that it left on me as a Halloween fan is like Halloween is back, baby. Like it's like this is Halloween. It leaves that kind of that hurrah kind of like that kind of impression like on the viewer, and just like that Halloween is back and better than ever, baby. So I love it. I love that title sequence, and John Carpenter's score is playing over it. So what's there not to like? Allison's character. Upon this viewing, I really like Allison's character. Is she as good as Laurie Strode? No, but as her own character here, that's kind of been brought up like with the myth of the boogeyman, with the myth of the Michael Myers being such a big part of her life. It's like I really like her character, and I'm excited to see what Helen Kills, how they decide to progress forward with Allison's character. Because from the ending of this movie, it does look like Allison is going to play a bigger part in Halloween Kills than she did in Halloween 2018. Now that she knows herself that Michael Myers is real, and Michael Myers will stop at nothing to kill Laurie, Karen, and Allison, since they're our three final girls left at the end of this movie. But yeah, Allison's character, like I really liked her character. Jamie Lee Curtis, like, what is there to say? What is there to say that has not already been said about Jamie Lee Curtis countless times over and over again? Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is incredible as Laurie Strode, and I think this is a great continuation. Like this is a true Halloween sequel to me. Like the way they progressed with Laurie Strode's character, we're catching up on 40 years of Laurie's character since the first one. When in the first one she was only in her early 20s, and then in this movie she's in like her 40s 50s here. And so yeah, there's a lot that we have to catch up on in her life, and I think the movie does a great job. Of bringing those new details into this movie, and that's what I love about Halloween 2018, is it treats that original with so much respect, with what came before it. But yeah, I loved what they did with Laurie Strode's character. I love how I love how we kind of see the impact that Michael left on Laurie, and how in this movie we see that Laurie has done countless suicide attempts, and and she's addicted to alcohol, and just they're the impacts that one night left on her character, and I love it. I love it. I love what they did with Louis Strode, and yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis's performance. I mean, it is of course like definitely a positive. John Carpenter's music, because yeah, John Carpenter is back producing the music for this movie, and John Carpenter's score. This is probably my favorite score of John Carpenter since the original, because he takes the original score of his classic Halloween, and he adds a more modern take. And his music, it's still scary, and it's still recognizable to us Halloween fans. Like we know that sound when we hear it. And I think John Carpenter, he does a great job at at recreating it and respecting both the old audiences and fans of the original, and for the new horror fans who are now just watching this movie. But at the same time, this is a sequel, so I don't know how many new horror fans would be watching this. But yeah, I think he does a great job, and there's just so many pieces in this movie that are some of my favorites that he has done. Like, of course, like the theme song, but outside the theme song, there's a piece called the Shape Hunts Allison. I'll look it up on YouTube. I'll listen to it. It's like a 5-minute piece. Love it. Every note in that is superb. It's intense. It's suspenseful. It's catchy. It's scary. It has everything. It has everything in a single piece of music. That Halloween needs to have. Like, it has that. It has that recognizable sound to the Halloween franchise. And yeah, I thought John Carpenter did an amazing job, with I guess remaking, a classical score for a new audience, and it's just I loved it. He's also listed as an executive producer on this movie, so yeah, there's that. The gas station scene. So the first kill in this movie, at least I think, because a lot of my notes here are out of order, but I think the first kill that we see in this movie, the first kill that Michael does, is where the guy's mouth is ripped open, like at the gas station. Like, it's off screen, but we see the aftermath of it, and the practical effects on him is superb. It's gold. And like, this movie just increases, it enhances all of the practical gore all throughout. Like, that's only really the tip of the iceberg. What you get later on in the movie is just is excellent. But I will speak more about that as I progress. The bathroom sequence, wow, what an intense sequence. Like, the way Michael Myers just puts his hand over the store and just drops the gas station's guy teeth, and then the way Michael's just banging on the bathroom stool, to when he's banging the I forget his name, but being like the news reporter's guy's head like against the wall, to choking, to choking her character out in the bathroom stall. As far as my feelings on the news reporter characters go, I didn't really think they made a big impression on the story, but I think they did have some importance in catching us up at what has happened. But at the same time, a lot of the information we already know, so it's catching us up on old information that we already know. So in a way, they do have some importance here, but at the same time, it's a lot of the rinse and repeat. But there is some new information that they do say that they do catch us up on what has happened over the 40-year period. But yeah, the bathroom sequence is intense as fuck. Wow. Michael Myers. Yeah, okay. So there's a scene this where Michael Myers he kills the mum, and then he walks over to the baby because he hears the baby crying, and he looks at the baby quickly and then he walks away. Like, it's such a small moment. I don't hear many people talking about this, but upon this viewing, it was so clear to me, and it's probably one of my favorite moments in the entire movie, because it really added to Michael's character that he does have a human side. Like, as much as, yes, he is vicious and he is a killing machine, like, he does have a heart. Um, and because like he looks at this baby, and we don't there's not much context given to this scene, but it's like he remembers something, because then he just walks away. But yeah, it shows that Michael Myers, he does have a heart. He's a human just like everybody else. And yeah, like, I thought that was such a sweet, it wasn't sweet, but it added to Michael's personality. Um, oh yes, okay. So the kill count. Okay, so there's a kill in this where Michael. It's done in all one shot, and you see Michael Myers walk in the house, and then you see like him like stab someone through the throat with a knife. Like, that is such a great single shot. Like, that is amazing. Like, you see as he walks past, he sees silhouette on the other houses. Everything about that is just amazing. So like, that's what I mean, is that this is such a great movie. It's the attention to detail, what they have carried from the 1978 film to this one is incredible. Another great kill in this is Vicky's boyfriend's death. It's a throwback to John Carpenter's movie, to when the guy gets stabbed through the wall at the end of that movie. There's a very similar death to that in here, and I thought that was a really cool throwback to John Carpenter's movie. What other deaths were there? Oh yeah, Dr. Sartain's death. I do want to talk about his character as well, but his death is probably by far my favorite in this movie. Like, I've seen this movie like a number of times, and there has been not a single death in this movie that has been able to outdo Dr. Sartain's. That's like the way Michael Myers just stamps on his face, like brain matter goes everywhere. Just amazing. That's a fantastic kill. Like, Oscar's death was pretty cool. Like, that's probably my second favorite behind Dr. Sartain's kill, where Oscar kind of he's impaled on a gate. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool death. There's some nice practical effects there. Like, there are a few deaths in this movie that are on screen, but then there's also a lot of them where you see the aftermath of them, which, like, in a way, you can look at that as a throwback to John Carpenter's movie, where that movie didn't really show a lot of its death. A lot of it was off screen. A lot of it was the aftermath, of the kill. And so yeah, I think there are some really nice throwbacks and homages, to John Carpenter's movie. But yeah, discussing Dr. Sartain's character quickly, he's a rip-off of Dr. Loomis, but with none of the charisma or energy that Dr. Loomis had, and certainly none of the one-liners either. And I can't say I really liked his character, because he came off so much as another Dr. Loomis, or another guy trying to recapture what Dr. Loomis did. And to see, I was not a big fan of his character. Like, his character hasn't really grown on me, and I'm kind of glad that he did die at the end, because I don't think I would like to see him return. Because there's even a line in this movie where Jamie Lee Curtis says, so you're the new Loomis. And so yeah, you can tell that that's really the only purpose that he has. and he thinks he knows like everything about Michael Myers, and then there's this twist where he's like his character is written horribly. He's acted horribly. Just yeah, his character I was never a fan of. Let's see. Hawkins Death. Okay, this I do want to talk about, because this I'm very curious to see how this will play into Halloween Kills, because spoilers. But Halloween Kills has already came out, so I'm guessing majority of people have already seen it. But it was on Jamie Lee Curtis's Instagram like 2 weeks before the movie came out, where we saw a picture of Hawkins laying in a bed. So obviously Hawkins is still alive and kills. After watching this movie again and having it fresh in my mind, how is Hawkins alive? Because Hawkins was stabbed in the neck, so first of all, he would have died from blood loss. First off, like nobody knew he was there, so that's one. Two, he was fucking driven over by a car. Like, no, you can't survive that. Like, I do not care. Like, Hawkins is dead. Like, you would be squished as a bug. But yeah, no, Hawkins is dead. I don't get how. I mean, I'm interested to see what Kill's reasoning is behind Hawkins like returning and how he is alive. I hope if Kills does not give an explanation for that, like I'm gonna really tear into that movie, because like because you hear the car go over, Hawkins, so he is dead. Like, he is dead and squished. So yeah, there is no way about that. So yeah, I'm excited to watch Kills just to see what the movie's reasoning, for Hawkins' return is. The closet sequence. This is another. This sequence to me is the definition of what a boogeyman means. Where Vicky, like, where she opens and closes the closet, and the closet won't open, and then she opens it again, and then Michael Myers, jumps out and stabs her with the knife. Like, amazing. Like, that is the definition of the boogeyman, just watching and just haunting and just staring at you while you sleep. So yeah, like that whole scene, like I think it really just, that's the definition of who Michael Myers is. Julian, like, I love this kid. He's so funny. Like, I thought his acting was good. His character didn't add a whole lot, to the story besides being there for comedic relief. But I thought he was a sweet kid. And the way his reaction to to Vicky getting stabbed is just like, oh shit, I love that. The humor in this movie. Speaking of that, this movie is not funny. I have peanut butter on my penis. Wow, I was cracking up at that. No, that humor does not belong in a Halloween movie. I mean, sure, humor maybe every now and then, but having it enforced in this movie like the way it is, no, no. Like, that whole peanut butter on my penis joke, like, that was not funny. Like, the first time I watched it, it was not funny. It's boring, it's dull, it's stupid. Yeah, humor. This type of humor does not belong in a Halloween movie. The Halloween atmosphere. This movie does such a great job at bringing that Halloween atmosphere and environment to life. Like, you see, all the houses have pumpkins, and there's all Halloween lights, and just all of the streets just have so much energy and have that Halloween atmosphere brought up to 100 in this movie. Because when Michael Myers is walking through the streets, you're just looking at all the houses, and just like, this is the Halloween atmosphere. So I probably quoted that horrifically, but yeah, the atmosphere in this movie I thought was really good. It's what you want to see from a Halloween movie. Michael's mask. Like, I love Michael's mask in this movie. I love the way it's aged over 40 years. Like, it's more wrinkly. It's more it's more dirty. It's just, I love that. I love that I love those details in this movie. Um, Dr. Sutton's death. We talked about that. Nick Castle, plays the original Michael Myers in John Carpenter's movie. He comes back for a quick little shot where Laurie Strode looks up at a mirror, well, not a mirror, like at a window, so and then she sees Michael, and then for that quick little shot there, that's Nick Castle, and I thought that was a really cool cameo. And he's also supposed to be in Halloween Kills. I'm not sure. I suppose I'll watch it and find out. But you know what? Yeah, I thought that was a really cool scene from Nick Castle, or a quick little cameo from him in here. Really like that. The pacing in this movie, the pacing is real. It has a nice flow to it. Like, it flows from scene to scene, and it has a good transition from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3, and just it feels like the story flows really well. It has a good flow. It has a good pace to it. Oscar's death, I already talked about that. Hawkins, Karen and Laurie's relationship, this was another thing that I liked in this movie. That it adds to what Laurie has been up to over the past 40 years. Is Karen and Laurie's relationship, since Karen is the daughter of Laurie. There would obviously be that upbringing of Michael Myers is real. You have to protect yourself, and that is a big theme. That is a big part of this story. And I really liked all of the flashbacks that we saw. I loved that whole kind of love-hate relationship that they have for one another. I thought it really that was a good dramatic dynamic between the two there. And the third act of this movie is amazing, where Laurie's house, where from the outside it looks like a normal house, but inside it's a trap just waiting to be set off by Laurie. And then when Laurie gets Michael where he has to be, she traps him. And I love that. I love how the whole house was set to be I guess a game for Michael to play and then lose, and then get captured. And just I love how all throughout the house, there's those little flame things that puts the house in flames at the end of the movie, and she has a weapons shelter, and just everything about the whole underground bunker. I really dug that, and how Laurie's been preparing for 40 years. It's all perfect. Laurie's character, I think, is extremely well written in this movie. I'm excited to see what happens with her in Kills, since Michael Myers is back again, and it's and I think at the end of this movie, now watching the trailer for Halloween Kills and knowing how Michael Myers does survive the fire, there are hints that, because once the house goes in flames, you get shots of the underground bunker, and it's all in flames and all that, and Michael Myers is nowhere to be seen. And so yeah, you can kind of tell that well, at first you think that Michael Myers is dead, but then there's also that possibility that he did hide somewhere. But sometimes I'm almost wondering how Michael Myers would survive, because I swear, because if he is a human, he would have just burnt. He would have just got burnt alive, just like any other ordinary human being, if that happened to them. And so I am very curious to see how he actually survived it, because that's not explained in any of the trailers. So that's going to be in the movie. So yeah, it's another question that I am excited to see how Kills does clear that up. And I love that whole Laurie. Well, Michael has a connection, and Michael can't really live on without Laurie. That whole relationship that is addressed in here, I really like that, and I feel that's going to be something that is addressed even heavier in Kills. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this movie. Karen's character, upon this viewing, she did grow on me. Seeing what her character, seeing I guess the relationship that she had with her mother, and seeing where her character could go in Kills and Ends, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can say about this movie that has not already been said. I think the direction by David Gordon Green, I think he does a great job at kind of at reincarnating like this franchise and bringing it back like this many years later after Halloween H2O. Like he does a great job at bringing that Halloween spirit back to life and kind of and showing us like since this Halloween 2018 retcons like every sequel after the original Halloween, and it's this is like the true sequel, and yeah, like to me this is the sequel that I would much rather watch like over the sequels, because there's some really hit or miss sequels. Like there's one where I think it's Michael is a part of like a cult or is brought up by a cult, and then there's one where Laurie gets, I think that's Resurrection actually, where like Laurie gets gets killed like in the first frame of the movie, and it's just like who does that? Like you can't kill Laurie Strode. I mean, like, she's the final girl. She's what makes this franchise, like Michael and Laurie. Like, that's what makes this franchise like that kind of like that clash. So yeah. But yeah, anyways, I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts, my non-spoilery thoughts on Halloween Kills later tonight. So anyways, guys, in the meantime, I'm going to ask you, what did you think of Halloween 2018, and how do you rank this in your franchise ranking? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night, or wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.